can't believe it.
I came for a Cabbage Patch doll. It was gone. There aren't anymore. When are you getting them in again?
This is a skit I came across, I think it's a skit, called Me After I Asked My Husband to Do Something.
Babe, can you empty the dishwasher?
Yeah, just give me a minute.
Babe, can you empty the trash for me?
Yeah, just give me a minute.
So pretty much you can see the gist of the skit. She's asking for help and he's not responding immediately, and so she has a pretty swift reaction in terms of being very unhappy, so she does the chores herself.
Babe, can you feed the baby for me?
Yeah, just give me a minute.
Can you vacuum for me?
Yeah, just give me a minute.
The skit did what it was intended to do, as you can see in the reactions. Yep, this is basically how my first and final marriage went, exactly why he's now an ex-husband. I stop altogether, switch off the stove, and leave whatever I was doing and go take a nap. I gotta do it myself, I might as well be by myself. Yes, I lived this, why would I stay married when I'm doing the same and a single mom? And this one particular comment that really struck me, although it doesn't have any punctuation, I remember I asked my husband to wash the dishes so when I got home I could cook. He didn't, so I started throwing all the dishes in the trash can. I cooked dinner and only had the dishes I was eating on and my son's dish. He went to fix him a plate of food and didn't have a dish, LOL. He had to take the dishes out of the trash and wash them.
With only 240 dolls and close to 600 people, not everyone walked out of the store with a new little toy called a Cabbage Patch doll under their arm.
I'm waiting since 7 o'clock out there, and they just pushed in like cattle. It was ungodly.
Unreal.
I'm very disappointed now my daughter won't have one for Christmas.
If you were a kid from the early to mid 80s, no doubt you had an encounter with Cabbage Patch dolls. Be it your parents fretting about how they're going to get their hands on one to put under the tree, or the commercials coming on during your Saturday morning cartoons. Or how about your female cousins or your sister begging you to play with these dolls, or even being at school and hearing young girls talk about the doll they're going to get next. An interesting thing happened in response to Cabbage Patch dolls because they were so popular. Someone took the Cabbage Patch doll cadence and made Garbage Pail Kids. These collectible cards were for boys, and they were kind of disgusting, a little bit crazy, but guys really took a liking to them. And when Atom Bomb was released, a new era began.
Why do so many men think foreign women are the answer if many of those women will use men for citizenship?
Because they can get about 5 levels of a higher of a partner than they could here in the United States, and that's the trade-off.
It's very difficult to explain the amount of commotion that these cards caused, not just from administrators to students, but from students to students as they were engaged in heated trading debates as these cards were lined up across school lunch tables and guys were trying to trade Phony Lisas for Beth Deaths and Snooty Sams for Bustin' Dustin'. It was here in that elementary school lunchroom that I learned the important lesson of you have to give something to get something.
I'm realizing dinner with my parents is hard for Devin because she doesn't speak Korean, and I can see she's overwhelmed.
Speaking of giving something to get something, in this case, she shows up wanting to marry their son and she has nothing in hand. Now, in this case, if she had taken a couple weeks and learned some rudimentary Korean and said, 5 or 6 phrases, it would be an offering as, I am trying to integrate myself into your culture, please accept me. But she starts crying and she tries to find her way out of it because she has nothing to offer, which shows how important it is to have something to bargain with.
That it would be cute for me to learn a few words in Korean to sprinkle into my speech. But I looked at the Korean alphabet And I realized it wasn't going to be the easy task that I had hoped.
I often speak of the virtues of learning a new language. It keeps your brain young, you develop a new identity, it gives you some confidence, dare I say swag. But in this particular case, he's at a wedding and he's talking to his in-laws, again, who are Korean. But this time he has a bargaining chip.
So please forgive me for how much I will butcher this. 소희 씨 가족분들께 제가 정령을 표하기 위해서 한국어 수업을 몰래 들고 이제 드디어 한국어를 할 수 있게 되었습니다. 처음에 소희 씨와 연애를 시작했을 때 소희 씨가 한국 문화에서는
Now think about what that would do to your prospective in-laws or the new family that you're going to marry into if not only were you meeting them and you're going to marry their daughter, but you had also done the homework of learning a language and much of the culture, and you step foot in their presence and you say, hey, listen, I'm not here just as myself. I have something to trade with. I have a bargaining chip, and my bargaining chip is I can talk to you in your language. If you are wanting to go overseas or find someone to marry, you're talking about one of the best bargaining chips you can bring to the table. It's knowing a few words in their language.
외국인을 사귀는 것을 안 좋게 볼 수 있다고.
Now look at that head nod. You see the head nod from the father-in-law? You cannot put a price on that. The rule of thumb for trading garbage pail kids at the school lunch table still remains. If you wanted the card of value, you'd have to give up a card of value. And if you could not find the Juicy Jess cart anywhere in the store, you might have to give up your Snotwitch Sandra. And in the same case, if you're familiar with this kind of attitude and you want something different, you might have to give up hours of learning how to study a different language. Or better yet, you might have to give up your comfort zone. There are always going to be trade-offs, including hours and hours of learning new language, new words, new grammar that you may not be familiar with. And it may seem tedious, and it may even seem like it's not going to pay off. But someday and sometime, if you play your cards right, there will be a day when you will look back and say, oh, all of those times studying those note cards in those dictionaries and those worksheets, this is the time I can show it off. Just like the gentleman in the wedding, and he got that nodding bow from his father-in-law that basically says, I approve of you. That is priceless. And if you do the work up front, including studying language and learning the culture, it's going to pay off on the back end. But you're going to have to give up something that might even mean what you're comfortable with. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment below. I'll catch you in the next video. Take care, guys.